Hi, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and you might be wondering what I'm doing with a very, very simple file on my Mac. Okay, there is a reason for this, and it's because I want to show you how to easily manage to do a double-sided print. Notice I did not say print to cut. You can do the print to cut double-sided if you want, and you do it in exactly the same way, except for the fact you add your registration marks. But even if all you want to do is to print some images with dark lines around them and have it the same on the other side so that you can look at them back and front, this will work perfectly well. Very handy if you want to do three-dimensional projects, or if you're doing a card, for example, with something which moves within the card. I have here a very, very simple file that I made in Shortcuts a lot. And it was the full size of an A4 page. So if you want to use it for an American letter size, you probably want to adjust it. Make it a lot bigger and then import it into Canvas, because Canvas will resize it to the page, being an SVG. It will resize it automatically when it comes in to fill the page. That is exactly what you want. So it's going to look like this. You want to make it very obvious, so I'm going to turn mine red and I'm going to increase the point size so it is very obvious indeed. There's no danger of me printing that by mistake. I'm going to know it's there. Now what I want to do is to go to File, Import from my computer. I've got some prints I can use. These are SVGs. Now I can go down to the bottom. I want to go down to the bottom here, and I just want to lock my shape for the time being. I don't want it moving anywhere because I want to select all my print items and I want to group them. I'm so used to doing a right click to group, and sometimes it works in here and sometimes it doesn't. There we go, I've grouped it. Now if I take this group and I move them somewhere really ridiculous like that, you can tell that they're not centered, right? I'm going to move it just so that they're within the page borders. It doesn't have to be centered at the moment, just within the page. That is important. If I leave them over here, it's not going to work. It's going to move that cross. And I want that cross staying where it's put. And I can't unlock it and have it moving around. That will defeat the object of the exercise. But I need to unlock it because I want to center all these various designs to that cross. So I take the whole lot, select the whole lot, go up here and go to the Align button, click that one, it's moved it to the center there, and click the the vertical one, and that's moved it to the center. So go back to my layers here, scroll back down to the bottom, make that cross invisible and lock it. Okay, I've finished using it for the moment. I don't need it any longer. And this is where it needs to be. So what do I do to print this double-sided? Well, first of all, it helps if you know which piece is going to come out your printer first. So in this particular case, my designs are quite different, and I've got these bars at the top to print, and I've got this. So in my case, I know I've got an HP EcoTank printer. I know that it's going to print it, and this is what's going to come out first. Save this as a PDF on your desktop and you print it. When it comes out of the printer, you put it in so that the same end is going to come out again. So make sure you don't do it so that this end is going to come out. You want that end going. So you put the paper back in the printer so that you've got the white side facing you, and then you're going to do another print. But before you do that, what you're going to do is select it all, and you're going to go up to the edit, you're going to flip horizontal, and once you've done that, that tree is on that side. But when it comes out of the printer, it's going to be on the other side, because bearing in mind, mine comes out upside down. You save this one as a PDF and label it back. If you're going to use it again, shall we say, label it back. If it's only going to be done once, then you don't have to worry about it. but label it so that the first one comes out is labelled front and the other one is labelled back, so that you know they are different. So your paper is already in the printer, do another print, and you should end up with all your images double-sided printed. Bear in mind that if you send this now to your ScanNcut, you have two sides. You need to make sure that your cut file is lined up with what you've put face up to cut on your mat. So if you want to cut it the original way round, you go back up to the edit and you go to flip horizontal again, and it's back to how it was in the first place. But because it is double-sided, you don't have to do that. You just have to make sure that when you send the file to your machine, you look at it on the screen and you look at the print on your mat and check they're around the right way, because otherwise you'll be cutting them wrong. And other than that, that's it. You're done. You can save this cross down here, just make it invisible and lock it. Just keep it there. You don't have to move it at all. Just let it be. The only thing you really have to remember on this is that these images have to be within the page for it to line it up to the center, which is what makes it print properly on the back and the front. If it's over here, it's not going to work. The cross will move over to there rather than this move over to the left. I don't know why it does it that way, but it does, okay? So just make sure it's within the page boundaries, and then it will line it up nicely for you in the center. Now, Shortcut Slot has a center to page function, which cuts out the necessity for doing all this, but Canvas doesn't. And you might say, well, you could save it as an FCM and then it would remember. Yeah, I could, but I wouldn't be able to see my images. And I just happen to like to be able to see my images when I'm doing a print. I just happen to prefer it that way. The images are not transferred with an FCM. It's only the cut lines or the draw lines or whatever that are transferred. So there we go. That is how you do a double-sided print on your printer, so that you can either just cut it out with the ScanNcut, or you can do a print to cut with it using registration marks, if that's what you want to do. Hope you found that useful. I will see you again soon, and believe me, there are going to be some projects coming up that are going to be using this.